some people just walk into a room and light up the place with their presence? Wouldn't we all like to be like that? I'm Brenda Mendes, and in this video I'm going to speak about first impressions at the job interview. To begin with, let me welcome you back to my channel and request you to click on the subscribe button and the bell icon at the end of this video. All of us have heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. But in actual fact, most of us do. There is no place where first impressions count more than a job interview. Researchers say that interviewers select not just a candidate, they select a person. So first impressions do count. And how long do you think it takes to make that first impression? Just 3 seconds. And how long do you think the interviewer takes to make her decision? Just another 3 or 4 minutes. So imagine you have just 3 precious seconds of those 3 minutes to impress the interviewer. And guess what? You don't get a second chance to make a good first impression. So you've got to get it right the first time. I have broken up the first impression into 4 parts, what I'd like to say the A, B, C, D of first impressions. So let's get started. The first is your appearance, which is the way you look, the way you dress, and the way you carry yourself. This is like your visual resume. So make sure you're well groomed, you dress for success, dress to impress. And here I'd like to relate a story which I've heard more than once. It goes like this. A man appears at the interview dressed like a tramp, with his hair all disheveled, his clothes dirty and torn, his shoes mud-coated. The consultant tells him politely to go back home and return after a week having bathed and put on a fresh pair of clothes. Come a week, the person returns to the interviewer dressed exactly as he was the previous week. That person was the famous actor George Clooney. So even George Clooney could not get by without having a good appearance. So remember, the way you are dressed will be the way you are addressed. Today, you are most likely to have a virtual interview. And yet, as the Harvard Business Review research shows, interviewers, even at a virtual interview, pay attention to what you're wearing. So make sure that you dress professionally from head to toe. So what should be the dress code for you to follow? For ladies, a simple formal blouse and a skirt or trousers is fine. For men, plain collared shirt is good to go. Make sure you avoid complicated patterns and flashy jewelry. After all, you want the interviewer to focus on you, not your wardrobe. And one more thing, on a virtual interview, take care of the appearance of your background. Your background should look neat and uncluttered. Avoid any fancy virtual background. Just a simple background or even a plain wall would be preferable. That brings me to the second point, which is your body language. Just as your appearance made up for 55% of your first impression, your body language makes up for another 38% of your first impression. And here it is your friendly smile, which is your best attire. They say a smile is the universal language that can change anyone's mood, even that of an interviewer. Also, keep comfortable eye contact with the interviewer. In the case of a virtual interview, this means looking directly into the camera. Now, this doesn't come to us easily, so a tip here would be to put a little smiley or a mark to remind you just next to the camera. Sitting tall with your shoulders drawn back makes you look confident. And the golden rule here is never ever touch your face, your hair, your eyes, or even your beard during the interview. And this brings me to the third point, which is your verbal communication. First of all, start with a friendly greeting. On a virtual interview, don't begin with, "Can you hear me? Am I audible?" Prepare a friendly greeting like, "Hi, how are you? I'm Brenda Mendes," or something like that. Also, here remember it is your voice which is your greatest asset. So make sure you speak clearly, distinctly, and slowly with appropriate pauses. A good formula to follow is pause, smile, and breathe. And also make sure that you vary your tone a bit so that you don't sound monotonous like a robot. And then I come to the last point, which is your digital presence. Today, your first impression starts even before you enter the interview, because researchers show that 48% of recruiters are likely to Google you before the interview. So make sure that your digital presence on your LinkedIn and other social media platforms are very neat. Avoid red flags and make sure what you post aligns with your values. So just to recap the 4 points: your appearance, be groomed professionally, dress to impress, your body language, keep a friendly smile, and keep good eye contact with the interviewer. Your verbal communication should be clear and distinct, and your digital presence should align with your values. Keeping this ABCD in mind, you can go out there and make an impactful first impression. First impressions may not be like love at first sight, but they can certainly be an invitation to consider that. So go out there and make a great impression and get that job. Thanks for the gift of watching, and do remember to click on the subscribe button and the bell icon at the end of this video. See you soon.